Dodson! Dodson! We've got Dodson here!
You just went and made a new dinosaur?
That doesn't look very scary.
You are alive, and they stopped to eat you.
When it comes to Jurassic Park, for everyone here on the podcast and you, the listeners, these films, books, toys, theme parks, all spark great memories for us. Whether it was 25 years ago or just yesterday, something special happens when you let Jurassic Park into your life. Corny, I know, but it really has had an effect on all of us. If you are listening to this, then it has affected you. I recently reached out to Jurassic Park fans in the community to tell us your top 5 or favorite memories from your life related to Jurassic Park, just to get a little bit of insight here as we move towards the 25th anniversary of this film franchise. So what you're about to hear is a collection of emails and messages read by myself and a few voicemails from you, the Jurassic Park fans.
Hey, Jurassic Park Podcast. This is Todd from Atlanta, Georgia. Just wanted to leave my Jurassic Park memories. I was 6 years old when the movie came out, and I don't remember seeing any actual commercials or trailers, but I remember being really excited about it. Of course, like a lot of kids, I was obsessed with dinosaurs, and my parents were worried that it would be too violent, too scary for me, and so they did a sneaky thing where I was away at my grandma's house one weekend, and my parents went and saw it without me. And then when I came back home, they told me they had seen it, and they told me that it was too scary for me to watch in the theater. I remember feeling really betrayed, but I still got into the toys and the books and everything, all the merchandise for like the next several months. So even before I saw the movie, I was really into all the merchandising that went along with it. And finally, when it came out on VHS, they let me watch it. I remember my mom covering my eyes during the scariest parts, like when Gennaro gets eaten and when Ray Arnold's arm, when you see the detached arm, I remember her covering my eyes. But the next morning, I remember my parents getting ready for church, and I snuck off to the living room and fast-forwarded to all of the violent, scary parts that my mom had covered my eyes for, and I watched them for myself. So that's just a little bit about my history with Jurassic Park. I've been a fan ever since. Really happy that there's all this new stuff coming out for the 25th anniversary, and obviously the new movie and the Jurassic World Evolution game, which I am super stoked about. But hey, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, and have a good day. Bye-bye.
From Master Builder 164 on YouTube. Number 5. When I saw Jurassic Park 3D in a theater back in 2012. Number 4. When I got the red T-Rex on my 12th or 13th birthday. I destroyed the cardboard Ford Explorer it came with. Number 3. When I saw Jurassic World at the midnight release. Number 2. Playing with my toys in my backyard. For some reason, I played with my JP Dinos with my Transformers, so it was more dinosaurs versus Transformers. It's so funny when I look back at it. Number 1. This one is a sad one. I remember getting a brown Triceratops from the Jurassic Park Dinosaurs toy line. My grandfather was in town and I think he took me to the mall, and I begged him to take me to KB Toys, and he got me the Triceratops. That was one of the last things he ever got me before he passed away. Well, besides his love and care, which was more important. I was too young to understand death, so it hits me harder now that I'm older, but I know he's always in my heart. I loved my grandfather so much, I put his name on one of the feet of my Triceratops. Sorry to end it on a sad note, but this will always be my memory.
Hey there, this is Dan Squatch 2 underscore on Instagram. I just wanted to share with you my favorite Jurassic moment of what I enjoyed as a kid. So, how I started off watching the Jurassic Park franchise was with my grandfather as a kid at 5 years old watching the VHS. Now, I, for one, did not have the chance myself to watch the film in 1993, because I was born in 1998. But again, it was a memory I remember fondly. I used to watch it with him all the time. I actually still have the VHS tapes on me, and honestly, I remember the feeling that Jurassic Park gave me, and that was like how small we were compared to the animals that walked the earth that Steven Spielberg brought back. It truly was awesome. Not to mention, yeah, were amazing. Like Jeff Goldblum, I, for one, loved him. I still love him. One of my favorite actors. But yeah, that was my Jurassic moment. And since I watched it on VHS, that was the first time I fell in love with Jurassic Park, and I proudly still am. Anyway, thanks, Jurassic Park Podcast. I'll talk to you later.
Here's an email from Brent. One of the great JP memories I had as a kid was when my family and I went to the drive-in theater to see The Lost World in the 90s. I remember the board meeting scene in the beginning, and it was so funny because when I finally rewatched the movie again sometime later, that scene was deleted, and for the longest time I thought that I had made that up in my mind. Another very awesome memory was on Christmas 1998, I believe, when I got the Mobile Command trailer from Santa, and it was the greatest thing in the world to me.
Hello everyone, it's me, it's Jen. It's Jurassic Jen from Instagram. I wanted to share my Jurassic Park memories. We all know I'm obsessed with Jurassic Park and it means so much to me. I have so many memories. One memory that I'll always remember is because I became so obsessed with the movie that I had my little brother and sister reenact scenes from it for me. I think we did all the Tim and Lex scenes. Of course, I was Lex, and my little brother was Tim, and I always made my sister be the dinosaurs, whether she was the T-Rex or the Raptors. To this day, she's still mad, but she was the star of the show, so we always bother her about that. It also means a lot to me because my dad had taken me to see it. He actually forced me to see the movie because I was scared. And after that, it was just magical to me, and I made him take me like 9 more times. So it was something that me and my dad shared, and my dad had passed away a few years later. So it just means so much to me. So that's where all my Jurassic Park memories and love come from. So I'm happy to share them with you, and I can't wait to hear everybody else's memories.
This is from the Jurassic Man on YouTube. Number 1. Seeing Jurassic Park 3 for the first time, getting me into Jurassic Park. Number 2. Getting my first toy in 2004 with the React Attack Spinosaurus. Number 3. Watching Jurassic World with my family for the first time in theaters. Number 4. Getting started on my collection with the Bull T-Rex as my first in 2016. And number 5, we'll be buying the new toys in April and watching Fallen Kingdom with my family again.
I think for me, one of the most special memories I have of the Jurassic franchise is actually quite recent, and that would be the way they handled the viral marketing for Jurassic World. So obviously I'm one of the younger people here on the podcast, so I think for me, obviously Jurassic World has resonated with me a lot more than it has perhaps older fans, and part of that really came through the tremendous job they did with the viral marketing. Obviously, you had what they did at Waterloo Station, which I wish I had got up to, where they did a whole kind of Isla Nublar kiosk, if you like, which looked really, really cool, with the raptor cage, the raptor squad, everything else there. That was awesome. You also had the mosasaur on the bank of the Thames. I'm hoping they bring that back this year so I can see it. But really what stood out to me was the way that Universal handled the Jurassic World website. So obviously we had the Masrani Global website, which I believe was handled by Jack Ewins and everyone else. I'm sorry if I didn't say your surname right there, Jack. I think it's like Ewins, yeah, kind of. I don't know, but yeah, continuing that thought, I kind of really liked how, obviously we had the Masrani Global, like I said, off to one side, but the bulk of the Jurassic World website was really, really well done. It was like visiting the website of Thorpe Park or Chessington here in the UK, where you get really immersed in looking at all the rides, kind of actually planning out your trip and what you want to go on. So the fact that Universal went to the extent of creating so much content which really felt immersive and fresh, I think was incredibly nice, and it made the whole marketing campaign for Jurassic World feel a lot more inclusive and a lot more, I suppose, unique. It's definitely stood out to me, and it's inspired a lot of the kind of marketing choices that I'd like to make getting into marketing currently as a career. So yeah, for me, Jurassic World's marketing is always going to be a special memory because I've never felt so immersed in a park before. Within these films, to the extent that I've actually really wanted to go and visit it.
This one's from Joshua on Facebook. My biggest Jurassic memory is playing with all the first generation Jurassic Park toys, specifically the young T-Rex, the Stegosaurus, and about 8 raptors, an Alan Grant figure for the hero, and a Nedry to always get eaten. I loved playing in the backyard. It made me feel like it was a jungle.
Hey guys, relatively new listener. Started in January. Really enjoying the podcast. I can't thank you enough for this podcast. It just brings back so many awesome memories. I remember very specifically when I was young and I would go for walks with my family. I had the juvenile T-Rex, and this probably embarrassed my parents to no end, but I would definitely walk that with us on our family walk. I just would tie it up on a leash and walk it around as if we were walking the dog with us. And I'm sure we got a lot of strange looks, but that is just one of the memories of Jurassic Park and playing with the toys that will always stick out in my head. I think we're in a very similar place. I have a couple of young boys myself. They're really into the Jurassic Park Lego game. I know they're too young to really appreciate the movies, but, they already have the groundwork. They love playing with the toys. And I know their first memories of it are going to be these Lego games and these Lego toy sets, and they're going to be able to recreate everything. And it's so much from my end. And I know as your boy gets older, you're going to have a lot of those same experiences. And it is just amazing. And it's just going to continue the fandom even further. Anyway, awesome show. Can't wait to hear more from you guys. Keep up the good work.
This was an email from Danny. Number 1, watching the first movie as a 7-year-old and having dinosaurs on the brain. Number 2, got an early Christmas that year. My parents went to the store separately, and they both ended up buying the Command Compound on the same day. It was hilarious, and my cousin ended up getting one of those. We grew up fanboying together. Number 3, reading and rereading the book during recess. Number 4, anxiously waiting for any scrap of news from TV and magazines about JP-related stuff before the internet was a thing. Nintendo Power and Disney Adventures were where it was at. Number 5, fantasizing about owning all the JP video games, even from systems I didn't own or knew existed. I'm looking at you, 3DO. Number 6, most people I grew up with knew I loved dinosaurs. Some still call me Daniel Soar. I'm 31.
Hi, Brad and the Jurassic Park Podcast. This is Victoria from Victoria's Cantina and Cantina Chatter, calling with my favorite Jurassic memories. And I guess you gotta go back to the origin of this whole thing. 1993, I was 8 years old, I was hugely into dinosaurs, and was eagerly looking forward to Jurassic Park coming out. I was very fortunate to have seen the film in the theater with my little brother, my father, and our uncle, and the whole thing was glorious. The most memorable thing that sticks out in my head about it was during the T-Rex breakout scene. The T-Rex plunges its head down into the glass at the very top of the Jungle Explorer. That terrified me. And the raptors in the kitchen. I mean, just the whole thing. It was just amazing. And of course, the next memory, and this should come as no surprise, the toys. I love the toys, and I have so many unique memories surrounding how I obtained each of the toys that I still have in my collection from back then. Just getting certain ones for Christmas, begging my mother to buy me the young T-Rex, and then working it off with chores, and saving my money to buy up certain dinosaurs. My brother got the Command Compound for Christmas, and we'd combine his dinosaurs and mine, and we'd, go all out in a huge Jurassic Park playtime event. We'd take him outside, and it was just fun. I have so many great memories there. The Lost World, same thing. Saw that in the theater with my brother, my sister, and our aunt. She took us to see it. And then going to look for the toys in the store. And I didn't buy quite as many for The Lost World, but I definitely did get some of them. And, lots of memories with that. Jurassic Park 3, my siblings saw it with a different uncle. And wasn't really too into the toys that time around, but, it was a Jurassic film. It was still fun. And then, of course, there was a long dark time until we got to Jurassic World in 2015. And now, when I look back at 2015, Jurassic World really sticks out for me. I mean, it was a long time without a Jurassic film, and all the hype and, all the excitement was really at an all-time high, I think, in terms of, something coming back. And Star Wars has come back a couple times now, but Jurassic Park, this was its first, really big comeback. And for me, that was really awesome. And, just getting back into collecting the toys. And even though the toys weren't that great, there's still a lot of memories there. It was still Jurassic. It was still fun. And now with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom coming out, we're making new memories, and there's so much to look forward to with the Mattel toys, and there's a Jurassic World 3 coming out in a few years. So it's just such a great time to be a Jurassic fan and a Jurassic collector. And I'm really excited about the whole thing. I say bring it all on. Here's to making new Jurassic memories.
Here's an email from Brianna. Number 5. I have loved Jurassic Park and all the following movies since I was young. My parents liked that I liked it. However, recently we watched all 4 of them in order, and now they have a better appreciation for the movies. I really like that I can share my love for the dinosaurs and all things Jurassic with my parents. In fact, I have the JP3 satellite phone as my ringtone, and whenever it rings, my dad jumps. I love that he gets the reference. Number 4. One year for Christmas, my parents gave me an inflatable dinosaur, which, looking back, I'm pretty sure was actually Godzilla, but at the time, it was my very own dinosaur. That same year, I also got a Tiger Striped Safari limited Velociraptor toy that was on my wish list. It was a dynamite Christmas. Number 3. My best friend and I grew up playing with our dinosaur toys. We love the Jurassic movies, Disney's Dinosaur, and the Land Before Time series. We each had a herd of carnivores, who were the villains, and a herd of herbivores, who were the good guys. We played with these dinosaurs all the time, and had so many adventures with them. I will always cherish those memories. And I still have the dinosaurs. Number 2. That same friend mentioned above moved to New Zealand after we graduated high school. We still stay in touch, and of course, continue to love all things Jurassic. When Jurassic World came out in theaters, she was visiting me in Ohio. We were able to catch one of its last showings. I was so glad to have the opportunity to see it with her. Number 1. Again, that same friend introduced me to the Jurassic movies. I remember the first time I saw Jurassic Park. It was with her during a sleepover, and my mom got a candid picture of us watching it. Our faces are priceless. Absolute joy and terror.
Hey guys, Yaroslav, Jaros428 on Twitter. I'm just calling to see what memories I can offer that I have for Jurassic Park or Lost World, whatever. It's kind of, I don't really have any structure to it, so I'm going to try to keep it short. But the memories I enjoy the most are actually really fragmented memories, ones that I don't have like a clear like start and beginning to an experience. So it's stuff like my earliest is probably when I first saw Jurassic Park back in, I want to say 94. I was born in 93, so that's kind of a stretch to say I remember anything from being 1 year old, but I do remember watching my father and just the part when the helicopter enters Isla Nublar. That's like the only part I remember from the film. The second memory is actually seeing Lost World in theaters, and the only part of that I can remember for some reason is when Eddie arrives to rescue the guys from the trailer, and it's just that overhead shot of him running up alongside the trailer to see it hanging over the cliff. So I always remember that, and I don't know, stuff like that is neat to me because I'm just kind of, I'm sure I'm not making this up, but you know, when I'm remembering this stuff, but it's just something very distinct that stuck to me. And of course, I just remember seeing the toys in the stores and stuff like that. Yeah, I never actually got the toys, unfortunately. That happened a lot later in life. But I really do miss all the hype and the energy back when those films were being released. Because you know, you're a kid, you're smaller, everything seems bigger to you, and you know, it's just a good time. And I feel like we kind of, at least I kind of got that feeling again recently with Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom trailer hype and everything that was going on. So, you know, it's kind of like a nice throwback to that recently, and I've been enjoying it. So hopefully you guys have similar feelings for the new film. And yeah, I like to hear everyone else's memories because, you know, Jurassic memories are the best. All right. Thanks, Chris.
Here's an email from Luke. I remember seeing each film for the first time so clearly. I saw Jurassic Park at our local cinema for my birthday. I hid under my jacket scared throughout the entire raptor in the kitchen scene. For The Lost World, I insisted on booking tickets for opening night so I could see it before anybody else. I messed up though and booked the tickets for several nights after its release. By the time my showing came around, all my friends had already seen it. I saw Jurassic Park 3 drunk. It was the only time I went to the cinema drunk. I was disappointed with myself for this. However, after watching it a second time, sober, I realized it was probably a better movie when I was intoxicated. I took a girl I liked with me to Jurassic World on its opening night. We planned to see the movie, then have dinner, but as the movie finished, I convinced her to skip the dinner plans and see it with me again. I don't know how impressed she was, but personally, it was one of the best dates I've been on.
Hi, my name is Paul. I was just going to talk about some Jurassic Park memory or memories. Anyway, I'll just talk about this. A few things. June 11, 1993. I'm 10 years old. Go into the first show, and it's like 11 o'clock and in the morning, and I feel like I'm the first one watching it. I know but I get there like at 9:30 in the morning already. My dad took me. It's right next to his work. I go with my older sister. Incredible. It was incredible. It was basically my generation's version of like seeing 2001 or Star Wars on the big screen. Nothing has been topped in the theater for me. And then, later on, my parents made me a birthday cake with a T-Rex, ripping a goat in half, and, you can see the entrails and stuff. It was awesome. And then the Jurassic Park pinball machine came out. And speaking of, do you know how, in the Jurassic Park pinball machine, the Ian Malcolm's character goes, go, 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 go. He doesn't say that in the movie, but he does say it later on, I think, as a reference in Independence Day. I always thought that was interesting. Anyway, oh yeah, and then later on I made a professional wrestling ballet with action figures for my dissertation, and I used the Thrasher T-Rex from Lost World and used it to eat one of the composers at the very end of the video. Had to use that. I dressed up as Dennis Nedry when I went over to visit my girlfriend to propose, and I took one of the Barbasol canisters, and one of the replicas, and put, will you marry me on one of the embryo canisters. Anyway, it worked out. And I later made a video about Dennis Nedry. My favorite, I'm the guy that did that magic word thing, by the way. God, I'm just rambling. Oh, but my favorite memory to this day is I was speaking at a psychiatric hospital to some patients, and I play piano, and I'm talking with them, and one guy comes up to me, and he says, "Hey, do you know the theme to Jurassic Park?" And I said, "Do you mean the main theme, or when they first, arrive to the island on the helicopter?" And he says, "Man, both." So there I am, and I'm in the hospital. I'm playing the Jurassic Park theme, the main theme, and all of a sudden, all these patients start gathering around the piano, and we're there, and we're singing, and we're all humming, singing the main theme. Da 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 da. And the best part, of course, in that theme is when it goes bum bum. Anyway, and people actually did the crescendos singing that. It was awesome. And some people had hands in the air. It was the best memory I've ever had with Jurassic Park, and I got a lot of them. But anyway, enjoy the podcast, and thanks. Bye.
This one's from Arjun on Twitter. I can't record or call in at the moment, but one of my most special moments is working on the visitor center I built back in 1993 and 94, using clay, paper, and wood. I had the whole kitchen set built, a lot of the restaurant and the control room too, and bits of the hatchery. I stopped when I realized the whole thing was going to be 2 meters in diameter. I didn't have the room for that. I do still have the notebook with notes and drawings and some of the built elements in a box somewhere. Sadly, no photos of the finished objects.
I remember taking the Kenner T-Rex hatchling with the breakaway egg and putting it in my grandmother's fern garden and taking pictures of it with a Polaroid camera, like I was on Hammond's expedition in the Lost World or something, and got actual pictures of a baby T-Rex in the wild, and I still have those Polaroid pictures somewhere. And as an adult, summer equals Jurassic Park vibes for me. As soon as it starts to get warm and green outside, I always get nostalgic for playing Operation Genesis with the smell of rain kind of blowing through my room, or playing The Lost World for PlayStation, or Warpath for PlayStation, which had such cool environments, and they were so kind of almost real that, it still is something that I look for when I look for places to go hiking where I can kind of imagine that I'm in those environments from those games.
G'day, Brad. How's it going? I just thought I would share a couple of my memories of Jurassic Park with you and with the rest of the fans. So yeah, seeing Jurassic Park at the cinema for the first time is one of my most vivid early memories. I think that's mostly because just popping to the cinema was not as easy for me and my family growing up. I grew up in regional Australia, about 4 hours drive to our nearest cinema. So, just popping down to seeing a movie was something we never really did growing up. But this time, my family ended up surprising me by organising a holiday to see relatives in Melbourne. My mum had made up some story about wanting to go Christmas shopping with my auntie, and as a 7-year-old, the idea of shopping with my mum and aunt sounded like complete torture. Anyway, we get to Melbourne, we meet up with family, and we head off to the shopping centre. I was so grumpy and tired, from the drive up, and was protesting about being dragged to this shopping centre the whole time. Just being that annoying kid that was just I'm 7 years old, just let me stay at home. Finally, after about 30 minutes of walking around the shopping centre, my uncle said he needed to pee, so the group split off into two. My father, my cousin, and myself went with my uncle in the guise of using the bathroom and getting snacks. Turns out he was actually taking us in the back entrance of the cinema to avoid all the posters and promotional cutouts. So, yeah, we walk through this door into the main lobby of the cinema, and my dad and uncle start laughing, and it kind of just clicks what we're actually doing and where we are. Needless to say, 7-year-old me absolutely lost my shit. I was freaking excited. It was crazy. I was like the girl in the RSVP video that keeps thinking about the cats. I just kept randomly bursting out into tears every time I realized what we were doing. We finally take our seats, and it was opening weekend, so the place was packed. My uncle could only get us seats in the front section of the theatre, so we were about 12 rows from the front of the screen, which as a kid was not a huge problem. But it did mean when the T-Rex broke out of her paddock, it felt like it was to scale. It was huge, and slightly craning my neck to look up and see this thing. It just felt freaking amazing. I can even remember every time she roared on screen, you could feel the sound and the vibration in your chest. I was absolutely amazed. But I think what really stands out the most about this experience and this memory is when we actually walked out of the cinema, and we're just super excited. We'd just seen dinosaurs for the first time, and obviously me and my cousin were thrilled, and that's all we could talk about walking around. But just seeing how excited and how happy my dad and my uncle were as adults seeing the film, their experience was just as awesome and as memorable as ours. So yeah, following on from that, getting home from that amazing experience, I needed more Jurassic Park. I needed more Ellen Grant, and I was watching something on TV and realized it was based on a book. Naturally, I begged my mum to buy this book, and being that I was 7, I wasn't going to read a novel on my own, so that meant that mum would be reading it to me. That idea turned out to be an unmitigated disaster. My mum read the first chapter to me, going in blind herself. And I don't know if you have ever read the books yourself, but basically the first chapter has a newborn baby getting its face eaten off by compies, so yeah, not really age appropriate. So after that, Mum started to read the book whilst I was at school, so she could make notes and create an age appropriate abridged version of the book. I now have like 10 copies of that book by Michael Crichton. I kind of collect it when I go traveling overseas for the different cover art. But I still have that original copy with all of my mum's notes and highlighter on it, so it's pretty special to me. I'm just going to skip forward. My next couple of memories are around Jurassic World, and I think it's that first memory of seeing Jurassic Park in the cinema, where I became a lifelong fan of the JP universe, and that's really what's provided me with these next couple of opportunities. Locally, huge JP nut, so I was totally pumped when I was offered tickets to the Jurassic World movie premiere here in Melbourne. Trust me, it sounds a lot more glamorous than it actually was. I mean, instead of getting Bryce Dallas Howard, the celebrities in attendance were a couple of the local Real Housewives of Melbourne, so, you know, we got the bronze medal of celebrities there, but it was still pretty cool to go to an event that was celebrating one of my favourite franchises. The final memory that I'd like to share was around attending Jurassic World, the exhibition. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but the exhibition actually launched its world tour here in Melbourne, and it was the only city in Australia to host it, which was pretty cool. That meant that it was packed, you know, it was busy and full of kids, and I loved it. I mean, it was amazing to see all the props from the movie itself in the creation lab, but I think what really stuck out to me was the energy and the excitement of watching all these kids running around. Seeing their faces and their energy just reminded me of how I felt the first time I saw a dinosaur. And then, yeah, with that, the success was pretty huge here in Melbourne for the exhibition, and I'm not sure if they've done it in the States, but the museum put on an event called Jurassic Nights at Jurassic World. Every Friday for the month of June, the exhibition was open after hours for adults only, and so it had a bar and a DJ, and it was pretty cool to be able to, walk through this exhibition with, a cocktail and stuff. So, yeah, naturally, I made all of my work colleagues come for drinks on a Friday night at Jurassic World, the exhibition. They're my memories of Jurassic Park throughout the years. Thanks for putting this together, Brad. It's awesome. Love your work, and
thank you so much, everybody, for sharing your Jurassic memories. I am so very thankful that you all trust in this podcast and this community to put your hearts out there and share your experiences. More than ever, this year seems like the time to reflect on how much this franchise has impacted us all here at the dawn of the 25th anniversary. If anything, this podcast has shown me that I'm not alone in that special feeling towards this franchise. Thanks again, everyone. Make sure to visit JurassicParkPodcast.com to find all our past episodes, brand new news articles, information on how to contact us, and much more. It's a great source for everything related to the podcast and, of course, Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. Head to JurassicParkPodcast.com and help us build a great community.
Anybody hear that?
5 minutes. Drop what you're doing and leave now.